How's everyone doing? It's a couple of goobers. And go ahead. I'm Nikita.
I'm Will.
And well, we already said we're a
couple of goobers. It's always different.
Yeah. So today's movie review is over Til Death Do Us Part, which is available on Netflix. It's streaming. It actually came out in 2017, and it is not a Netflix original. It appears that it went to theaters on a limited release. The statistics that we were able to find, I think it said that it made over $3 million, which to me is pretty good.
Well, independent film. It is a very independent film.
Oh, let me stop. Sorry. So, our rating system. We are doing a review on Til Death Do Us Part. Our rating system is 1 to 5 goobers. 1 to 5 goobers. 1 being ungooberish, 5 being goober-tastic. There we go. Okay. So, the movie stars Taye Diggs, Annie, forgive me if I can't pronounce the name correctly, but Annie Ilonzeh, and StephanBishop. It is directed by Chris Stokes. And Chris Stokes was the manager or founder of Immature
B2K.
And B2K. And he does movies, right? He directs the one now.
There's several Netflix original films, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Where he went to him and Marcus Houston.
Okay.
We have a production company. They kind of put some films together.
Oh, okay. This movie is about domestic violence. Netflix says that a woman's seemingly idyllic marriage takes a dark turn when her husband becomes violently abusive. Her only hope is to get out in time. Okay. So do you want to start with you?
Well, I'll say this. This is Domestic Violence Month, so to all of those suffering through domestic violence, please get help. It's just life after, and it's not necessary to continue to go through it. It's not that much love in the world unless somebody beat on you, physically or emotionally. Love is a four-letter word. There's a couple of them out there. So I would pray and advise you to find help. Call 911. If you're not going to leave, at the very least, get a paper trail. And with that being said, this film, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and from a fan perspective, it was not a bad film, from a fan's perspective. But I think I've said before, my background is in film, part of it anyway. I have a bachelor's in film as well as an MFA in film. And for those who don't know, as a terminal degree, you can't get higher than that in film. You can get higher than that in communications, but not in film. That's it. That's the top of the line. So from that perspective, I saw a lot wrong with it. I didn't like the way they used the whole concept of domestic violence as a premise to push the film. This was more of a film about how a woman tricked her husband into thinking she was going to be, she was dead and disappearing, and he finds out. If you've seen the movie enough, or Sleeping with the Enemy, heck, if you've seen Double Jeopardy, you all take bits and pieces of all three of the movies and you have this movie. It's just like Skyscraper and Die Hard. It's the same movie, just different name, different people playing it.
So what I didn't do is give you just a synopsis of the movie, and of course, spoiler alert, some of this may spoil the movie for you or it may not. But, so, the movie starts out, well, I won't say it starts out, but they're married, and there's a party that's happening towards the beginning of the movie, and the wife is speaking with her friend, and she's saying how perfect he is, and he's great, and he's this, and he's that, and the friend says, if he's that perfect, something's wrong with him, basically is what she says. So that gives you a glimpse that something is going to happen, because you really don't know, even from the description, that there is domestic violence. He says it becomes violently abusive. I'm sorry, violently abusive. But you don't know how it comes up. But he's not only violently abusive, because violent means physical, right? But he's mentally and physically abusive. and that you see that. I mean, he's like really gone. What I did not, while as Will was saying, the cinematic part of it was a movie, so it was good. I mean, for what it is, the cinematic part of it. But as he said, at the end of the movie, it gives you a little statistic about domestic violence, and I don't like how they used, as he said, the backdrop of domestic violence for this movie. They're not synonymous to one of the message that they're trying to give is not in the movie. No. And that's the beginning and end of it. One of the things is that how she chooses to get out, which she just stated, faking her death. So she fakes her death in order to get out of the abusive relationship, and then you'll see that it actually didn't work because he finds her. But anyway, you know. But in real life, in reality, no one is doing that. I mean, no one, because no one is married to someone who has the money. There are people who are married to people who have money like he does. You'll see this in the movie. He has money. And he doesn't want her to work and all this. That was the beginning of the abuse, was him telling her that he didn't want her to work under the premise that she was, his wife, and he wanted to care for her and all of that. That was a thinly veiled form of abuse, but whatnot. At any rate, but then to have the forethought that she got an insurance policy, made her friend the beneficiary, then she died. They faked the death. And then she was able to get the money from it. That's insurance fraud. So not only are you escaping from your abusive husband, but you're gonna break the law to do it. No, who's gonna do that?
You're beating me. I can just have you arrested and just call myself taking the day.
And again, I am not belittling. I am not saying or downplaying abuse, physical or mental abuse. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is that I feel if you were using the abuse, that you were like trying to call attention to it, that it's there, that you could have gone about it a different way in regards to how you get help and how you can get out. And I just don't believe that is not something that people normally do. Unfortunately, for some women, the results of it is death. And I think what should have more been brought out and more talked about was that when the friend went to the police didn't do anything. And I think that is the crux of the issue that should be discussed.
I want to say this. I would even go as far as to say, if I want to film on this topic, if I'm going to write a film on this topic, and it's something I might do, I wouldn't even look at it from the aspect of the male beating the woman aspect. Because even more and more today, there are men getting beaten by their spouse. And that's never been explored. There's so many other ways they could have went about this to make it deal with domestic violence, other than putting a blurb at the end of the film and saying, "Oh, this movie's about domestic violence." Really?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. That it could have been talked about, dealt with differently. Not your after-school special type thing, of course, because sometimes that happens. It just happens. It is what it is because we grew up in that world, right? But it could have been discussed another way. In real life, in reality, here in the Middle Tennessee area, there was a soldier who was a week or two ago who was murdered by her husband on the Army base. This just blows my mind. She had a restraining order against this man. The Army base allowed this man to come on the base, and then when the news news asked, the news folks asked them, "Why did you do that?" They said, "Well, we didn't." Basically, they didn't have to honor the restraining order. I was like, "Are you serious?"
But here's why.
And he went on base, went to her apartment, and he shot and killed her. And now she's gone because the Army and the police are not talking to protect this person who's not only your soldier, she's fighting for our country, for our freedom, but then you're not connecting to protect her. So now she's dead.
Well,
and
unfortunately, she's dead, and I do hate that, but the reality of it is civilians, being the fact that I did so wrong, civilians and military don't work together. That's the sad part about it. To me, military code of justice and civilian justice are two different situations. And because they don't have to honor a civilian order of protection. And that's the sad part, which they need to change. too many people, male and female, are dying at the hands of their mates behind unnecessary situations. For this movie to just go unpunished. I guess it's what
and that again is, you know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought up about the real life situation of this woman did what she was supposed to do, going through the divorce. Husband, she gets the restraining order. She's in the military. The military guards let him on base. He goes to her apartment, and what does he do? He kills her. Then her father was on the news, and he was saying that that they didn't know. Her family did not know that she was going. I'm going to presume that they knew she was getting the divorce. I'm going to presume also that they didn't know the severity of the relationship she had with her husband. That's what I'm going to presume that the father was saying. They didn't know. I don't know them personally, so I can't, you know. But that's the other thing, is that people in this movie, and now I'm going back to the movie, and my apologies, and the reason why I'm doing this is because a friend of the husband knew that he was abusive, because he kept telling him, when the husband figured out that she may still be alive and he asked him to investigate, the friend, who's played by Malik Yoba, I did not mention that he's not listed as a star in the movie, but he is in the movie, and he tells him, I'm going to help you find her, but bruh, you need to get some help. The friend, she's the one that went to the police. So there are some people who knew she was being abused, but no, besides the friend who went to the police on her behalf, no one did anything. Why would you go search for this woman for your friend if you knows he's abusing her? Why would you do that?
Throw it off.
You know, I mean, seriously. And those types of things, that can't be glossed over. In reality, are in a movie, because that's part of the issue that needs to be addressed. So again, that's why I felt like cinematically, it was a good movie. I mean, for what it was a good movie. But for a message, no. I think that they could have done a better job doing the message portion. If that's what you were going to. Entertainment wise, it was okay. So not cinematically. My apologies. I've said it twice, right? So not cinematically. Entertainment wise, it was a decent movie.
It was good for what it was. It was a B movie.
But if you're doing something for a message, that's not.
You totally.
I don't think that's what you want to tell people. Hey, get an insurance. You know you're being abused. So instead of you
call the police,
calling the police, or yourself going to the police, taking pictures of yourself with the bruises, or finding the strength, having someone who is giving you the strength and supporting you, and just leaving. Because again, sort of spoiler like, sorry, but he didn't want her to work, but she was working at a hospital, I think it was like 3 days a week or twice a week or something, in the mornings with the friend. At what point did it not dawn on you to, when he was gone and you were supposed to be going on this run in the morning, packing your stuff and just going and being with the friend, or leaving, going somewhere, because you were getting paychecks. It may not have been enough, but if you're in that dire of a situation, whatever you get is enough to go to a hotel or whatever. And again, I have not been in a situation. I pray for those who are in this situation, but because again, there are women who really are in reality going through this. I just can't. If you're my friend and I know you're being abused, so how do you
can change your name?
I mean, how do you want me to help you? Do you want me to give you some money? Do you want to come stay here for a while? How do you want to do this? Because I cannot continue to send you back to this situation. I'm your best friend. They've known each other since high school. So again, entertainment wise, good movie. Message wise, no.
So what do you give it?
I give it a 2. And I give it a 2, not because of the entertainment portion. I give it a 2 because you missed the
ball.
Yeah, you missed the ball as far as if you were supposed to be a message movie, that's not it.
I give it a 2. I don't give it a 2. I give it.
They missed the mark. That's what they missed. They missed the mark.
I give it a 1. It's a good film just to do if you had nothing else to do with your life. You want to just waste an hour and a half? Great. And not because I applaud them for their effort. I do not applaud what I do for the effort of making the movie.
Yes, and the acting was great. They did a good job acting.
What I do not agree with and do not applaud to is you took basically, and people take, as filmmakers, you learn that every movie pretty much has the same concept. That's not my issue. You pretty much took an exact concept, turned and twisted a few things, and put that right movie back out. You didn't even come up with anything different.
And that's fine, because they do that.
Yeah, but
do that all the time.
None of the other movies that I mentioned made it as though it was a domestic violence movie. They made it as it was just a movie. It was a thriller. It was something. They didn't act like it was nothing more than what it was.
Right.
A great movie for entertainment, and left it at that. They didn't get no certificates. They didn't get no nothing. So for that, if you hadn't thrown the statistics up, they had to push this off as a domestic violence movie. I probably would have gave it about a good 3.5, 4 because it wasn't bad as a film, right? But everything else just no. So for that, and then I don't want to get into the technical side as far as cameras and looks and all that. I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole other ball of wax. So for that being said, she'd give it a 2. I'm gonna give it a 1.
and watch the movie for yourself and decide.
And then leave a message at the end of the film.
What do you think?
Of the review, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. This is just our opinion. Y'all just
what do you think about it? And also, I'm gonna leave in the description, or we're gonna leave in the description some information regarding domestic violence, as far as the national hotline, and some more information for those of you, if you're happen to watch this movie review and you know someone who is going through this. I'll leave some information that may be helpful to you as far as helping them or to pass along to them to get the help. If you do know someone who is a victim of domestic violence, I urge you to, of course, you pray for them, and I'll pray for you, but take action and try to encourage them to leave the situation before it is too late. Not just with them losing their lives, but with them deciding that they've had enough and have to defend themselves, and then they take someone else's life and then end up losing their life by going to prison for trying to save themselves. So
y'all have a blessed day. Have a great week.
Have a goober-tastic week.